Hello everyone, good evening from London. It's now 8:47 and I'm ready to do some stitching. So today, 2 days in a row, I'm going to stitch an Amy Stewart piece. So this piece is called Vintage Baker. Really, really simple. And it's full of yummy things. And today we're going to dig into some of the cherry pie goodness here on this Tuesday. So let me just quickly show you what the full markup is like. There you go. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, I love baking, so this is coming home to me. And the cherry pie on the upper left, that's where I'm starting. And slowly moving toward the right and then downwards. So with this piece, I don't have a particular direction. I just pick the items and colors I love at that moment in time. And I'm going to stitch away. So let me just bring this view back here. And then I'm going to just quickly give you a summary of where I am right now in terms of progress. So I'm using Pattern Keeper to track my progress. And just let me zoom out so you can see the totality of the piece and how much has been completed. So as you can see, it's very irregular. I'm not following the diagonal. I'm not really following the horizontal either. I'm just slightly sort of edging forward to the right there and have fun in the meantime. I mean, this piece is literally delicious. So in terms of percentage, actually not too bad. I'm close to 10. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit. It's 9.22%. And hopefully I'm going to move a little bit closer to 10 today and see how many stitches I can complete. And so I'm starting from zero, stitch zero right now. And then let's see how far we can go. So the method of stitching today, I'm gonna go for mini cross country with no parking. I've been parking for last couple of days. So I'm going to go with no parking. Kind of this piece is what a piece is asking for. I try to follow Le Projet's kind of guidance. It kind of talks to you, doesn't it? To see what he wants, how it wants to be stitched. So here I am. Let me just quickly look at the chat. Hello, CN. Happy July. Can you imagine? This is the 1st of July. I cannot believe it. The last time I checked, it was February. It was Valentine's. And Sarah says, good evening to you. Rose, hello, triple hello. Yes, indeed. Hello, indeed. And Janelle, little wave from Janelle. And Ari, hello, welcome back. So let me know if you're stitching today. And I've been pretty relaxed today. I had a couple of classes earlier on, and but came home nice and early and had some food, so feeling good. And I'm really craving for a little bit of a cherry pie goodness here. Rose says, I have this pattern in my chart. Oh, really? Oh, in my cart. Okay, you haven't bought it. Go for it. Little nudge for me. And I keep thinking, do I really need another hay right now? Rose, if you've been here enough times, you know your answer, okay? I'm not saying anything, just, you know what's the best. You know what to do, okay? This is such a gorgeous piece, though. And it's, it's kind of a hidden gem because most Amy Stewart pieces, people stitch the bugs, the little cake shop, which I have as well. But there's so many pieces, like the piece I did yesterday, the Grandma's Attic. They're just so whimsical and beautiful. Lots of hidden gems with Amy Stewart and Heaven and Earth design in general. So it's my mission to dig them out and stitch them all. even though most of them are firmly single digit in terms of percentage. But I'm here for it. So I'm going to start with, I'm trying to think, let me bring up this little markup here so you can see, have some reference there. And I'm going to go move forward to the left. And I want to complete this area. It's been calling me. I just want to complete the shadow under the 3 cherries and get that area completed. So this is a 25 count, in case I haven't mentioned, 25 count pre-gridded, as you can see, even weave here. And I'm doing 1/1 with DMC floss, 310, one of my favorite colors because it's really dark. So when you have dark colors on the fabric, you know it's going to create a lot of definition. And I like that. So 310 to start. And this beautiful color here. Here we go. Let me move this down. Here we go. Nice and clear here. And if you don't know already, I stream in 4K. So if you're at home Wi-Fi, go for it. So you see, you get a beautiful, clear picture. You can see every single stitch, which is what I like when I watch floss tube. I want to see the thread. I want to see the stitches, nice and clear. Rose says, yes, I know what to do. Thanks for enabling. That's what I'm here for, Rose. I'm a cross-stitching pattern pusher, or whip pusher, as known. So I don't feel like I'm on my own with maybe close to 20 whips. Everyone else has got 1 or 2. That's not normal, right? I can't let that happen. These cherries look so delicious. So when I do mini cross country, there really isn't any hard and fast rules. Obviously, you edge away from the stitch area, and then normally I'll stitch till either the thread runs out, or the stitches run out, or the next stitch is kind of far away. And by far away, I'm talking about more than a block. Maybe within the block or even block and a half, I would park or continue to stitch, but not beyond, because I don't want to build up too much bulk underneath. So that's really the only rule, if you can put it that way. But occasionally I bend it, you know. And then so sometimes when you have, let's say, 5 stitches right here where I'm stitching, and you have the same color slightly away, maybe too far to take the thread over, but I sometimes I'll end the thread right there and then restart somewhere else. So, you know, I wouldn't necessarily just switch color there and then. It really depends. Janelle asks, is this chart mini? No, this is a regular chart. And I think the total color is around 90 or something like that, 90, 92. quite a regular number of colors for a regular chart. And let me tell you, it does stitch differently. Regular versus mini. So regular, the color distribution, well, you still get confetti for sure, but it's slightly gentler because it needs to be. It contains normally the same number of colors versus mini. So you can imagine that there's just more stitches of the same color being, spread out there. So it's a little bit gentler, but So if you have, let me just move slightly toward this end. If you look at this clock, cooking timer here, this bit obviously it's a little bit of confetti situation going on there because there's so many color changes within the same area. It's very subtle. But when you, and also a little bit, even on the subtlety here, kind of baked area for the pie, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Normally, if you're stitching max color or mini, this bit, these areas will be quite intense. But when you stitch regular, at least from my experience, and also yesterday, the one with rocking horse, grandma's attic, it's a regular as well. And again, it's a bit gentler when it comes to color switching. So it's something to bear in mind. And I would say try them all because they will provide different challenges and different experience. I wouldn't necessarily try to avoid one over the other. 1, 2, 1, 2 here. So different things to learn by stitching different types of patterns. I haven't done supersize because it's not really I just don't feel the attraction there. It's just bigger. But I'm all for max color. Thank you, Carol. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. It's so delicious. So if you're hungry, this is not a great piece to stitch because it just makes you want to run to the kitchen and make something. I can make a pie or something. I have my little cupcake needle minder here, complimentary to the piece. So this area, for instance, this entire area consists of 310, the same color, which is probably less common with mini and also max color. So you can tell that you get to stitch kind of a flat color area a little bit more, but they still turn out really beautifully. With max colors, occasionally you think, well, is it necessary? Tiny little areas. Do you need to switch? Do you need 10 colors for that? It makes you wonder sometimes. Kara's got the cherry emoji as well. I don't know whether they have a pie emoji. It's amazing how calm and settled I feel every time I sit down in front of a piece and just stitch away. My mind is totally still. How wonderful is that? And I only get that with yoga. That's it. Two things. It brings a lot of peace for me. Oh, Rose, I eyeballed this. Last time Yogi was stitching on this piece. Yummy looking. Yeah, I know. It's just full of delicious things, and all items are there to make delicious things. I mean, what else can you ask for when it comes to comfort factor? I mean, if you're in a bad mood and you bring out this piece, you have to smile. You just have to. Shana, hello, good evening. Welcome. And I'm really happy to bring out these hidden gems so you get to enjoy them as well, hopefully. And I don't think there, at least when I bought this pattern, I don't believe there was a max color for this, but apparently you can request it if you would like to have a max color or mini. I don't believe there was a mini version either when I bought the pattern at the time, which was maybe nearly 2 years ago. And I say, if you see a pattern you like, just grab it. Maybe wait for a discount day. But grab it when you can, half price, keep it in your folder, and you can stitch whenever you want. You don't want to miss out, if they are discontinued for whatever reason, you'll be gutted. And I have patterns in my pattern keeper that I bought maybe over 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I haven't stitched them, but I know I have them. So I'm just waiting for the right moment to stitch them so I can increase my whip to 30. That's my goal, that's my mission. Let's see who can have most whip on the internet. Shana says this one will make me gain 10 pounds. Are you one of those people just by looking at food, you just gain 2 pounds? That's hilarious. Yeah, I think this pattern just makes me want to bake. Just rush to the kitchen, start baking like now. Oh, today, my God. I don't know if maybe it's not a hottest day, but close. The highest point today is 32. 32 degrees Celsius, I ask you. It's relentless, this heat. But I think it's going to cool down a little bit in about 4 or 5 days. Who knows? You know, we have heat wave from time to time, but rarely this long. It's been nearly a month, extremely warm for a month. With the exception of a couple of days. It was slightly cloudy, but not complaining though, because come winter, we're going to miss it. Saga, hello, welcome. I'm slightly earlier today, slightly more civilized hour when people are still awake in the UK for a change. And yesterday I stitched till, I think it's 2 a.m. in the morning. There you go. Extreme stitching. That's what I do. Make sure you drink plenty of water, everyone. We forget to drink water sometimes. We're wondering why we're feeling a little bit dizzy in a hot day. And talking about that, drinks of choice tonight. Okay. Not the most, you know, healthy, I say. I've got a can of Diet Coke. And I have a half-finished black coffee. So I'm caffeine loading. But it has to be done. It has to be done. I've got water as well. A big bottle of water next to me. Oh, Rose says 38 Celsius. Oh my goodness. So that's 100 Fahrenheit. Oh goodness. Oh, I don't think I'll survive at 38. I'll probably just have to hide in the basement somewhere until it's winter, until Christmas. But Saga, the highest point today was 17 Celsius, but you're in north, aren't you? You're Newcastle, so it's not as hot. Or are you talking about right now, 17? I think in London, 17. The temperature right now, let me have a quick look here. Even now, as we speak, 10 past 9 p.m. in London, 28. 28, I ask you. My goodness. 28 degree Celsius. Dear, oh dear. A few more stitches here. And the thread is going to run out. I'm thinking whether to take another 310 and continue to stitch this area. I think that's what I'm going to do. Quite fancy filling up this area. One more, and I'm going to end this beautiful thread. And just tuck this right in. So have a watch if you're new to full coverage. This way of ending is probably my favorite way whenever possible. Tuck it in, there's no bulk at the back, and it's not visible. It's just done and very secure. Oh, Audrey says tomorrow's supposed to be 40 in Germany. My goodness. Something to look forward to. Jeez. Sarah has the orange creme Diet Coke. I've never tried that one. I have tried cherry Diet Coke. I really didn't like it. It's very synthetic. I know Diet Coke by default is probably synthetic. I'm not claiming it's herbal drink, but probably because I'm used to the taste. But the cherry one was weird. 310. Yes, I'm going to bring another 310 and continue to move forward in this area. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, well, considering this is only July, this is only July. I forgot, this is not August. This is only July. If it goes like this, goodness. What is it going to be like in August? It's a slightly scary thought. And does it mean that this winter is going to be warmer necessarily? I don't know. Is it overall just getting hotter? Or this is just something that it's kind of unusual. So from year to year we have heat waves from time to time, but not this long. It just feels like this spell has been pretty persistent. And it's good for people who like barbecue. Let me see. I am going to move over here. So it's a bit cooler up north, according to Saga. 17 isn't too bad. It's doable. Rose says we can probably set the pie outside and we'll cook by itself. Yeah. It would be a light baking of some kind. You can definitely warm up a pie for sure with that temperature. Let me see. Okay, No, I am. There's one stitch here. And then I'll have to decide what to do next. Because this color is also the same, using the same color, this area. I might move over there. See, I'm breaking my own rules already. Told you. But I'm going to end it rather than taking the thread over. Beautiful. I'm trying to soften this corner there. Here we go. Shana says, I watched a video of someone making jam in a car window yesterday. Oh, that's one of those extreme cooking using a car as a hot plate to make jam. But jam requires a lot of simmering and boiling. How hard is that place? Well, I suppose car was metal, so it would go higher. The temperature would probably go higher. Can you imagine? I've seen people cooking eggs. That's quite common. But eggs can be cooked very easily. It probably doesn't require that much heat. But I think jam will probably take a little bit of persistent heat. Actually say, no, I'm thinking all the things can be cooked today. Yes, exactly. What else can be cooked on top of a car? You know, you can definitely warm up a pie for sure. Can you do a cheese grill sandwich? You know, will the bread go brown, golden brown and crusty, right? That's what we want. And can you do a nice stir fry? I don't know. You know, all the world cuisines then they can be incorporated on top of a car bumper. Absolutely. Good. Oh, if the car was on. Oh, so if the car's running, the engine is running, it gets even hotter. I see. You can tell I don't drive, so I'm totally clueless. What about electric cars then? You know, now you see more and more the cars just got like a big fat cable attached to it to a charging station. Well, not even station, charging pole. It's quite weird to see. Can he not just get unplugged by random people? I wonder. And also one of those mysteries. Depends on where you live. Over here, officially we have a bicycle rental scheme. It's dubbed as Boys Bike, but it's essentially the bicycles you can rent with an app, right? It's probably quite common with most cities, but you can only dock them, the bicycles, in different docking stations. So you can't just leave them on the roadside. So it's kind of, hit and miss. Some people like it. If you happen to live by somewhere it's got a docking station and you're going somewhere that has a docking station nearby, but it's inconvenient if you don't, right? So there are other schemes that kind of creeping in. And one was, I think it's from Uber, perhaps. There are a couple of them. I think Lime is from Uber. It's of lime green. But they're electric bikes. For slightly lazy people. I'm being judgmental here. For the life of me, I can't work electric bike. It scares the hell out of me. I ride normal bicycles. I've got a Brompton, and that's my sort of mode of transportation most of the time. And there came these electric bikes with big batteries and everything, but you can dock them anywhere. I never used them, so I don't know how it actually works. But you can just leave them wherever on the roadside and on the pavement, etc. But I'm always wondering who is charging them, because the batteries need to be charged. I've never seen a single e-bike being connected to a cable anywhere. It's one of these urban mysteries. But I've seen people just riding them using the electric. Well, I suppose if the battery runs out, you can still pedal. But those bikes are so bulky. They build like a tank. They're tanks in a bicycle world. Really, really bulky. So I think if you want to just pedal those bikes, you might as well walk, really, because it's like pushing a trolley or something like that. It's very laborious. But who is charging those batteries? I don't know. I need to Google. Maybe AI can tell me. Maybe ChatGPT can tell me. Oh, Adri have an e-bike, so that you own one, right? So you can charge whenever you want. But those are out there in the wild. Who's charging them? It's so weird. I did a test ride on an e-bike. My God, I was scared because you just push a button and it starts to accelerate without you doing anything. It just doesn't feel like a bicycle at all. It's pretty wild. And also, part of the benefit of bicycle is that you actually move your legs. Move your legs, everyone. It's okay to do that. They won't fall off. And London's relatively flat as well. There's really no need for e-bikes. I'm gonna stitch till the thread runs out. Which is soon. And we also have another scheme. I don't know whether it's official or not. I've seen people doing kind of not rollerblade, scooter. Yes. So it looks like skating board, but with a handle vertically, so you can just stand on top of the board. And I think it may be electric. I'm not too sure. They go very fast, and they will come onto the cycle lane as well. And I'm so scared for them because literally Most people are using it. They look very confident, maybe overly confident, because first of all, they're not just competing against cars. They're competing with bicycles as well. They can get bumped by bicycles, and it's not gonna end well. Oh, these people, oh, they're people who pick the batteries and exchange them for charge ones. Serious? Oh, right. I've never seen that happening. Does that happen after, like, in the middle of the night? Do they wear black or kind of, some sort of invisible camouflage outfit? I've never seen them. Is it supposed to be really secretive? Ask Miss Siri. Mr. Siri, my Mr. Siri, my Siri talks. He's got a life of his own. He talks without my permission, and he was try to offer me all sort of strange Google searches that I don't ask for. I need to have a word with him, seriously. It's like, because the whole point, I thought you need to trigger it by saying, "Hey Siri," I need to stop saying that. See, it's come up. But even without saying "hey," just by saying something that's remotely similar to series. Sometimes you say TV series, it will come on. So, I think my Siri is having a bit of a brain fog there. He's just getting a little bit confused. So I try not to talk to him as much as I can. I don't want to encourage him. Oh, Audrey says, I have knee problems, so the pedaling is hard. If you have e-bikes, I don't know. E-bikes without batteries is probably slightly harder than normal bikes. I don't really know. I've only test ride e-bike once, and I decided that it just wasn't for me. Two more here, and then I'm going to end this right here. But I think whoever invented bicycle really should win some sort of award, because it kind of stands the test of time. It's just good engineering. When on bicycles, I've got, what I've got is folding bike. It's quite small. But if I go shopping, grocery or something like that, I can just load it on the back of the bike, and it's so stable. And when I cycle, you don't feel the weight. It's just way the bicycle is engineered that you can load pretty heavy items. I mean, I'm sure in Holland or Denmark, where everybody cycles, I've seen them practically move houses just by loading furniture on the back of the bike. So extremely functional, sturdy, and it doesn't require any electricity, petrol, whatever. Manpower, leg power. If you have power in your legs, you can work bicycle. Oh, Audrey says, yes, they have trucks in the evening and they search for them as they have GPS. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So they do this secretly at night and try to confuse me. Wow. Okay, that makes sense, because I every time I walk past them, I just wonder, where do they get the battery? The power for the battery. So there's program in Germany that you can charge batteries for bikes and scooters, and they pay you. Okay. Oh, I see. So can they be charged just like home socket, electric sockets? I wonder. I see. So encourage people to do it for you and you pay them accordingly. Maybe some sort of free bike ride or something. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. 902. 902. I'm moving to a different color. The mystery of e-bikes is being solved live here on Slow Stitch Yogi's channel. This is a kind of educational information you can get whether you want it or not from the channel. Good. Here, this one over here. And yes, we have all the answers. The correct answer is 42. Yes. To the mystery of the universe. It's always a number. And this is precisely why I don't understand those theories of quantum physics or whatever. Why is everything in a physical world boils down to a number or some sort of mathematical equation? Where does that come in? I have no idea. Why do you go from, Big Bang to like a mathematical equation? Hello? Am I missing something? Rose says they have that program, referring to the one in Germany. They have a program here in the States too. The scooters can be left anywhere and GPS tells you where they are, so the batteries can be exchanged. Oh, okay, now that makes sense. Right, so they're doing that secretly. Late at night. Do they wear black? Do they wear shades? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh my god, it's hilarious. They have ninja moves. Oh. A men in black. But they're in charge of bicycle batteries. But there's another question about those docking station free, sort of free docking bicycles. What happens if someone just take it out of bound? So they say They're supposed to be in London within certain area. Let's say the entire London, right? Central London somewhere, or zone 1, zone 2, whatever. What if they just take it to Birmingham? Or take it to, I don't know, somewhere else, Cambridge? How do they stop people from doing that? Well, I suppose the bike is probably attached to someone's account. They can probably trace back to the person, but the person can just go, well, I'm just trying to go home. And my grandma lives in Cambridge. I'm just going there, minding my own business. Or does the bike just stop working if you cross the boundary? I don't know. How do they stop these things from happening? Or someone just drunk, just go, hey, I thought I was going to, I don't know, Battersea. And I ended up in, I don't know, somewhere else. Oh, more mysteries needs to be solved. Couple more here. Oh, Rose says maybe there's an auto shut off if you get too far from the area. Do you think you stop beeping and go, return to where you were, return to London, come back, come back? Or maybe they just lock the bike, which can be quite dangerous if you're actually riding at the same time. I can see why free docking is so tricky. It's easier to have docking station, but then, you might as well just take buses. And the thing with the scheme in London, it's kind of a shame because after Boris Johnson left, stopped being a mayor, it's moved very, very slowly. You just don't see, well, in theory, you should build more docking stations to the point that it doesn't matter where you go, there's one nearby. But they never got there. It's like the area I live is popular with, a lot of people want to travel to central London. It would be a sort of one of the primary locations to have a docking station. After so long, we haven't got one. The nearest one, I have to walk about, maybe nearly 20 minutes to get to. And that's rubbish. So I stopped using it because I supported a scheme for about maybe solidly 2-3 years. I supported them when they bumped up the membership from £20 something to nearly £100 per year. But I thought, well, it's good for the city. But they just haven't really expanded it. And any kind of a scheme is that the less you do, the less people want to get involved. So it's going to just lose momentum. Oh, Adri said the bikes just stopped functioning. My goodness. Well, that sounds a bit dangerous. Huh. Oh, so Adri have friends that cycle too far away and the bikes just stop functioning. Okay. Huh. Yeah, but what if you're in the middle of the road? It just stops. does not cause accident. That sounds a little bit scary. Oh, I have a sip of my Coke here. Nice and refreshing. Right, then I think I'm going to move toward this area and fill out this area under the little green leaf there. That looks very appetizing, very luring. 435, 435. You get some warning if you don't stop. Okay, fair enough. That makes me feel a little bit better. So otherwise we'll probably hear about accidents, freak accidents with people on those bikes. Hello, Steve. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Cover all bases. Okay. Steve says, and what if you're being chased by thugs and your bike stops? Yes. Sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen. Yes, you're running for your life and the bike just stops and then you get beaten up and get your iPhone stolen and they call you names. That's not good. Yes, it could be life and death. It's a minefield, isn't it? Or just get your own bike, you know? You can go wherever you want. Go. I think those e-bike schemes, they're relatively new, aren't they? I've really only seen them on London streets, maybe only for the last couple of years. There were a few companies kind of gave it a go, having not e-bike as such, but those free docking ones. Sort of, not free, yeah, docking free ones rather. And they have, mixed success. I think people are not used to having bikes just lying everywhere. Sometimes they get damaged, and sometimes they get kind of parked in a location they shouldn't be. And but I think it's getting better. People just get used to having them around, and also kind of know how to interact with them. A few occasions that there's some of them just lie on the street. Maybe it's windy or get pushed, so they topple on the street, and I had to help them at the bicycles to come back up, to stand up. And they're so heavy. They're so heavy. Particularly e-bikes. Boris bikes, they're generally quite heavy as well. But with the batteries, oh man. You probably don't want to steal them because it's not like you can just pick them up and run. And a couple more stitches over here. Before I got my Brompton, which is a folding bike, I had, at the height of my bike owning period, I probably had about 4 bikes. It's crazy. I just kept buying new ones, thinking that just one more. I think I just need one more bike. And I love those Dutch bikes, you know, those upright, really comfortable Dutch style bikes. And so they're really bulky. They need a lot of space for storage. So I was literally dedicating a single room just for the bikes. I had about 4. May or may not include a folding bike. I had another folding bike that's less foldable. It's an Italian folding bike. And let me just find where I am here. And it was getting out of hand. And I also realized after getting Brompton, I was mostly using Brompton because you can just fold it up if you go to a restaurant or a shop. I don't have to worry about parking and stuff like that. Let me figure out where I am. Oh, here. And so I decided to give rest of the bikes away, and I think I sold one and gave away the other 3. And that was a good decision because I freed up literally a room in the house. It was ridiculous. No one needs 4 or 5 bikes. I think I'm gonna end this one here. But I do like those big Dutch bikes. They're so comfortable to ride. Four, 3, 5. I'm gonna pop it back. And let me look under this area. Yeah, 787 A0. Oh, so warm. I am hot. I missed the corner there. And 25 count is really forgiving when it comes to mistakes. If you know, if a stitch that looks ugly or you miss or stitch the wrong color, just stitch over it. You can't really do that, not as easily with 14 counts, even though I do it from time to time. Whoops. Kind of unusual to have so many stitches of the same color in the same area. It happens more with regular patterns. A few more down here. I'm practically sweating right now. more stitches down here. And very often when I'm sort of focusing on just looking at where the next stitch is, you kind of forget what you were stitching, which is probably a good thing. You're just focusing on, okay, so the next stitch is about 2 stitches away, and then move down, and then you also look at the distribution of that color to see where you should be taking your thread to, your needle to. And the great thing is, when you sit back and look at what you've just done, you suddenly realize you've just created something beautiful, you know, like either a flower petal or some sort of shadow to accentuate something else. But at that moment in time, you're so focused, you just don't even know or care what you're stitching. You just know that this is where I want to move my needle to. Kind of one moment at a time. And I've got one more stitch over here. Even now, I've been using Pattern Keeper for maybe nearly 3 years now, something like that. I still struggle with the different modes. You know, sometimes when you're in a markup mode and you just want to move the screen a little bit, you realize you can't. When are they going to fix that, please, Pattern Keeper? There's no reason you need 3 taps. There just isn't. $7.80. And there's a good question for Steve, if you're listening. Do you use a tracking app, markup app, for your patterns? Because the type of stitching, you could technically get away with not using a tracking app. So you can use a PDF. That's what I did before I discovered Pattern Keeper. I use Good Reader, which is just a PDF reader, and I use the built-in highlighter and just do that. In fact, let me have a look. Let me see if I can bring it up. I'm not sure if I got it on my... Just to show you an example, it's pretty crazy because patterns, I might have it. Trying to find my previous files just to show you how I used to stitch full coverage before I discovered Pattern Keeper. Let me see if I can bring it up. Let me have a look. Saga says, it would be nice if Pattern Keeper showed back stitches. Like a long dog sampler. I think it's in the pipeline. The last time I heard, I don't know when that's gonna happen, because I think Pattern Keeper is kind of done by a single person. So I don't know what capacity they have for development. But I think, yeah, I think someone said that they are planning to do so. But I believe, which happens that Saga has that. Saga has that. So it's already an existing functionality there. Let me see. I'm trying to bring up my crazy little markup system before I switch. Oh, there you go. I've got some examples here. Oh, brace yourself, brace yourself. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let me see if I can find more examples here. So this is quite mild in comparison. So this is Good Reader, which is essentially just a, let me just remove that. It's just a PDF reader, you know. So what I did was, I've got pages like this. I just use the built-in highlighter and start marking them. So the ones I'm stitching at that moment, I'll use lime green to highlight them. And once they're done, I turn them black like this. And then these pink ones are part threads. So that's how I used to do it. And this is pretty mild because I've got pages. I was trying to find a file. The entire page is covered by these highlight markers. So that's how I used to deal with full coverage, one page at a time. So when I found Pattern Keeper, you can imagine my relief and how thrilled I was. I thought, oh, so apps like this actually exist. I was very happy. But even though I'm not, there's some, functionality I think they can definitely improve. So Steve says, paper patterns only so far. I made working copy, cut out all pages and tape them together. Okay, so you can see the entire piece. So I have the full pattern and just mark up as I go. Yeah, I can totally see that happening, or even just a PDF like I have. It would be relatively straightforward to do. In fact, that's probably what I did once upon a time, when I used paper patterns, maybe even before sort of PDF apps became popular. I used to tape them together. But the thing is, I was so paranoid that I was going to destroy my paper pattern. I always make sure that I print them out, duplicates, before I even touch them. Because I just thought, well, if I'm going to tape them together and do all sorts of things, what if, I'm not going to have just one copy. I'm going to have a backup. 3827. And I think before Pattern Keeper even venture out to do the back stitching, how about working on the fundamentals? Consolidate these 3 tabs together. I don't know whether there's some sort of technical barrier they can't overcome with Android, but otherwise there's just no reason to have a search mode, markup mode, and whatever mode, pinch and zoom mode. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. This is not how we use mobile devices. We just do whatever we want to do. Pinch and zoom, search, tab, whatever, at the same time. Not at the same time, but under the same mode. But otherwise, you know, it's a great app. It's responsive. It's very sharp. The images are sharp. Oh, hello. I think I misplaced this thread. I'm bring the markup up. You can see. So 1, 2. I've been thinking about the typewriter method as well. It's been entertaining idea of trying it out. But I haven't figured out which project would be a good candidate for that. It's going row by row downwards. Probably something confetti would be good. Something kind of max color would benefit from that way of stitching. One, two, one. And I think I might end the thread here, or should I take it down? No, I'm going to end the thread here. There are a few more stitches down here, but I just have a feeling that I'm going to get a little bit lost if I wander too far. So that's a judgment call you have to make. 3827. Big Camry, hello. Welcome. I think It's probably a little bit early in the day where you are. 3827. 3827. I hope you've got your papers organized. Oh, Steve says typewriter method seems like a floss eater method. Do you mean it consumes a lot of floss? So the one that was mentioned to me the other day on the stream was that, well, technically you could go from kind of a selected, self-defined range in terms of width, a few blocks away, or a page width, or even an entire project, depends on how big the project is. And what you do is that you do row by row and kind of cross country, one row at a time, if that makes sense. You just go until either the thread finishes or the stitches run out. But the question I had in my head was that, what if, let's say if you go for a page width, let me just zoom out a little bit. If you go for a page width, row by row, then what happens if you have two stitches on that row, but one is in the beginning of the row, the other one is at the end of the row? Do you then take your thread all the way to the back just for the sake of it? Just so you can stitch the other one at the end. In that case, if that's the rule, then yes, it would probably eat up a lot of thread. Depends on how far you have to travel. So for me, that's a rule I probably would have issues with, because normally I don't travel further than maybe 10, 15 blocks. So unless the rule can be bent and go, well, if it's the next stitch is too far away on that row, you wait, you end the thread. I suppose I could define that as a rule. No one can stop me, but I'm just thinking in a purer sense, whoever came up with the idea, what would be the rule the person would do? So I've been kind of running through scenarios in my head to see if there's something that will be comfortable stitching. And then you go, once you fill up the entire row, you move to the second row. I don't know whether from back to front to back. I'll have to find out. Sarah says it's basically cross country. So cross country, okay. So mini cross country or color completion. We're not talking about color completion of a row, is it? So if you can just end the thread, if the other stitch on the same row is very far away, then yeah, maybe there's something I'll entertain doing. Or I'll be forced to, narrow down the width to the point, to the width that I'm comfortable with. One or the other. Rivers Love, darling. Welcome. Become Marie says, yes, it's 2 p.m. How civilized. Lucky you. Over here, 16 past 10. Almost the end of the day. Actually say, I'm back. Where have you gone? Right. My God. Actually say my computer. Your computer overheated so much because of the weather. Did you use your computer to cook any kind of, bakery item or eggs or tofu? Let me know. Sarah says, just go cross country as far as you want. The next color to choose is the one next in your row. Okay, so it is kind of cross country, but confined on the single row. That sounds doable. Because I get slightly nervous if I have to take my thread too far away. I don't want to do that. Or over stitch area. That's not a no-no for me. You don't have to stay row by row in the stitches. Yes, I actually looked up Stitching Mummy's channel and looked into the tutorial. I couldn't find one that's specifically for, at least on the title, it doesn't say typewriter method. Look here. So I might need to look again. But I think these rules might not be that complex. I can probably iron it out in my head. Let me see. 3856. 3856. I do have one. Yes, cooking on overheated computer is probably more interesting than cooking on a car. So anybody can do that, right? If it's cross-country, yeah, then that'll be interesting to try. As long as it doesn't sort of start to make the back really bulky because you have to drag the threads everywhere. I think the most kind of floss consuming method I've seen so far is probably page by page or project by project, depending on how big the project is. Color completion method. Kind of, you basically complete one single color, move on to the other. I've seen the back of it. Oh my God, it's terrifying. You have floating thread everywhere. I think if you follow a certain order, let's say if you go from minimum number of stitches per color and move up, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But if you just pick random colors that you like and just start complete the color per page, then it's a disaster waiting to happen. Disaster for me anyway. Your back is not going to be pretty. 3854. And you probably end up with more material at the back than the front. 3856. Adri, are you working in the patio or the garden? Why will a computer just heat up so badly? It stopped. My goodness. Sarah says, just go cross country as far as you want them. The next color, choose the one is next in the row. You don't have to stay row by row in the stitches. Oh yeah, okay. I read this one already. Okay. Reverse Love says, stitch along with Stitching Mummy typewriter method. There's a name of a video if you want to check. Okay, that's a good pointer. I will then. I'll look again. I shall look to the OG for the purest method, and then I can bend the rules. That's what I'm planning to do. If it's very strict or somehow that kind of, doesn't flow with my normal way of stitching, then, or my sort of basic rules, then I'll probably need to bend it. But it's good to know what the original method is. 3776. Yeah, because that's one of the methods I haven't really tried. So I want to give it a go. Computers off, light is off. And I'll find a piece, I'm thinking maybe the quilt room piece would be good candidate. This is the piece that it's on 22 count, 2/1 4 cross. So currently I'm doing kind of a version of row by row because the stitches are so full and quite a lot of confetti with certain area as well. I think that might be a good candidate for this method. I think if you use the method on a piece like this one, you're probably just too tempted to just keep stitching wherever rather than trying to stick to row by row. One here. Let me see, where am I? This here. Okay. And has anyone tried Royal Roll? Because I gave it a go. Maybe I think I made maybe two attempts doing it. It just didn't flow with me. I know a lot of people love it. For some reason, it feels like block by block color completion. Just stack two blocks on top of each other. Is there any difference from just a regular block by block stitching? And I know it goes horizontally rather than diagonal, or So most sort of stitching methods that I've tried, most of them work well in some way for me, and I kind of adapt and use them. But royal row is one thing that I just couldn't flow with. Reverslove says, on your organizer, I know you use the parking board when working on the project, but when your projects are not using that color, is that the purpose for the felt? Are you referring to the organizers themselves, the thread organizer themselves, or the board? Because I have two ways of let me just bring this up here. So let me just, so for DMC, I generally don't part my needles on the DMC. I'm using the board, which I have shown before. Let me just quickly flash it so you know what I'm talking about, like these ones. So I dot them on the side and with all the needles part there. So that's just for DMC. It's just a lot quicker because with DMC, I think they're very often I'm working with a lot of confetti, and I just find the board is quicker. But for the other ones, trying to get, but CXC, for instance, I dock all my needles on the organizer. So let me just zoom out a little bit more. So this is what you're referring to, right? The felt on top. So I made my floss card the same way, whichever set. I have a piece of felt on top of each thread card, and I have the option to put my needle through. So it's you could potentially just do it like this without the board. But for DMC 25 count projects, I prefer to use the board. It's just quicker. I just turn to my board, look, find the number, and then there's a threaded needle there. So yes, so the felt, yes, so the felt is there too. You can use it two ways. Let me show you. So you can dock. The felt is really handy because you can either pull a needle through, right? But if you don't want to do that, you can just thread it through, like this one. Let's say if you want to free up the needles, you don't want that many needles to be on the board, you can just thread it through the felt, and then next time you need it, just pull it out. So sometimes you have duplicated colors of the same colors. Sometimes I just thread it through and just keep it there. It doesn't go anywhere. So you can have them throughout the organizers here. They're really secure. So you can use the felt either to park the needles or just to park the thread. Just thread it through. So that's the purpose. So I hope that helps. River says, I love the royal rose, but I wind up with so many threaded needles. I run out of needles faster than I already do otherwise. But where do you keep your needles? Threaded needles? Do you mean? Well, I think royal rolls, do you have options of not to park your thread, or do you always park? I think the rule, if I remember, is to park to the right side. Oh no, to park, is it parking down and then end to the right or something like that? I can't remember now. One way or the other. But do you have option not to park, I wonder? I think essentially it's parking method and color complete within the two vertical blocks on top of each other. Something like that. Or am I being too simplistic? River says, I like the board idea. I'm currently using Paco-ish. Okay, I've got about 6 of them in the house. Organizers, but get tired of picking them up each time. I'm so lazy. I think those type of organizers, if you don't know, it's like they're quite popular. I've got quite a few lying about. That's what I use before I try to come up with my own, because those ones, I think maximum, is it about 40 colors or 50 colors per board, per organizer? And they're not super expensive, but they're not cheap either. So if you have a project that's max color, for instance, or even just this something like regular, which has got 90 colors, you need multiple organizers. And if you're having a max color project going on there, God knows, you need about 4 or 5 organizers. And you need to remember where, put them in certain order so you can find the right organizer. Let's say if you have 5 of them lying about. So it becomes impossible to maintain in a kind of sensible order. That's when I started to explore my own way of doing it, because you basically just come up with ideas that meets the need you have. So that kind of makes sense. So thread cards become a lot more compact and also cheaper to do. You just need some cardboard and a puncher so you can punch holes. Some felt. I've got like a whole basket of felt. A33, A33. A33. River says park in the dungeon. Okay, dungeon is the blocks below, right? The 2 blocks below. Or East Tower. Oh, so you can park to the right as well. But I mean, no one is gonna call you off the Stitches prison if you don't park. Yes, okay. So if you don't park, essentially, what are you doing then? You are doing color completion of 2 blocks, correct? So you park down first, and if there's nothing, you can park right. But do you not also end to the further one block away. So if you're stitching this block, you park to the right, and then if there's end thread, you have to drag it all the way to this block to park it. Yeah, that somehow just doesn't flow with me. I don't know why that is. Maybe I'm so used to, I don't know. I think that way of stitching, very often you create situations that you have to take the end thread. Let's say you want to end or park to the right. You have to bring the thread over stitch area if you're purely following the rules. And that's when I get a little bit stuck. I just go, I don't want to do that. But if you don't want to do that, you essentially have to end the thread there, which you could. If I was going to do that, I'll probably do one block at a time rather than two. I don't see why you want to do two at a time, because if you want to part down 2 blocks, you're essentially taking the thread further down. If you're doing 1 block at a time, the furthest, well, you could part the block below, or slightly further if you want to. I don't know. It's just one of those methods that doesn't really make sense to me. When I tried it, when I experimented with it, I kept asking myself, why am I doing this? That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign when you're trying out a method. You just go, why? What is the reason for this? So I gave up. One, two, three. Here. Some loose ones over here. Hello, Dolly. My tuxedo cat is here to say hello. No presents today. I'm really happy. I know you love me. You don't need to bring me mice, particularly dead ones. You know? Just saying. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, River, you tried it as well. Yeah, it's odd. Two up. 1, 2. A 3 3 8 3 3. I think I'm gonna move toward maybe this area a little bit. Let's work on a different area. And I'm feeling that maybe somewhere near the timer here. And then move it over here. River says, right now I'm stitching mine to max, a minimum to max in a 900 stitch area. I'm loving Saga. Oh, you're using Saga. I was about to ask you, how do you do the calculation? Yes, Saga allows you to do that very easily. I love it as well. I'm up to 22 stitches per color. I mean, that's the fun of it, because in the beginning it's a little bit slow, isn't it? With each area, you do these loose stitches here and there. You kind of go, oh, yeah, you know, it's a bit random. And then, and lo and behold, once you move up to about 5 stitches, it starts to fly. It's just getting faster and faster. And you know, the next color, you know, involve more stitches, so there's less color switching. That's the beauty of Saga, I think. And currently, it's the only app that allows you to do that. I mean, with Markup, you could do that potentially within 1 page, but 1 page is a vast area. I don't feel comfortable doing it. I'll probably get lost. But with Saga, you can have a user-defined area. You can do it within 1 block, 100 blocks. It's up to you. A33. I'm glad you get your copy working. A33. And if you want to get a copy, there are ways of doing it. There are a couple of hoops you have to jump through. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, but all information you can find on my channel. There's a tab called Posts, Community Post. I posted the instructions there. Big thanks to Karen from Needlebug. She pointed me to a few links to share with all of you. Some downloads are free, so if you're interested in using Saga, which I think is a fantastic app, you know, I'm really grateful for the developers to come up with an app like that. So if you want to try, all the instructions are there. So just look under posts on my channel. There's only 1 post there, so you can't miss it. And I'm going to go around this area. Hi, Jennifer. Hello. How are you? I hope you're well. Jennifer is a floss tuber as well. 666. Oh, hang on. Which color is this? A33. I'm moving towards 666. I like 666 because it's a color I memorize in my mind. I know which color that is. It's a bright red. I'm sweating, would you believe? The Devil's Color Roxy, welcome to the chat today. Yes, Devil's Color. It is a little bit, isn't it? Is that why you like it? I like it. 666. Yeah, I think that's why. And it's so appropriate, isn't it? Imagine if the 666 is blue. That wouldn't work. It's bright red. Satan. Devil's Color. Maybe it's one of the 3 colors I know. I can memorize with the numbers. And I'm going to go down here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Rose says 347, 321, and 666 are the only reds I know. Oh. I think for strange reasons, we just remember certain numbers better than others. For me, it's 310 as well, probably because it appears so frequently, the black. One, two here. I was having so much fun stitching this kitchen timer. I think I was going cross-country within this area. I just went nuts. Instead of mini cross-country, I was doing color completion within this little, well, not that little, this circle shape. Because I was so determined to complete it. And that wasn't too easy because it's quite confetti. 1, 2. Ah, 902 is a pretty red, and A14. Ah. I think 666 is fiery red, like flames. Very appropriate. 3. Let's see if we can squeeze in 3 more stitches with the remaining thread. It's always a race against the amount of thread that you've got remain. I'll be able to manage that. Maybe one more. Maybe just one more here. Beautiful. I'm going to park it. Not parking, ending. Ending this right here. Have a sip of my drink. Oh, my coffee. Cold coffee is the best. Oh. Lovely jubbly. And there's a nice patch of, trying to think. Let me do this one first. 3801. 3801. Let me just double check this because it looks so much lighter than what is shown on Pattern Keeper. I know it's not precise, it's not meant to be precise, but it's worth checking. 3801. Interesting. Oh, I'm so glad I checked, because this one looks orangey, but on the app it looks pink, and I'm glad I checked because this is not the correct color. It's more of a red than an orange. 3801. It should look like this. Sometimes I just park my needle in the wrong spot because the numbers are similar, or I'm just not paying attention. It should be red, not orange. Sarah says she likes her coffee cold too. Yeah, it's different from iced coffee. Iced coffee, I don't understand it. I know it's very popular in some places. But hot coffee, you leave it when it's cold. It kind of accentuates the coffee flavor so much. It's different. I love hot coffee as well. But if you leave hot coffee till it's cold, it tastes so intense. I can taste the coffee now in my mouth. Oh, so good. One, two, three. And then 1, 2 in the middle, 1 down here. River says, there's this coffee I love. It's called Jamaican Me Crazy. Oh, yeah, Jamaicans, they're quite known for their really unique coffee flavors as well. I think I'm referring to the country itself. And there's a Kenya as well. I remember going to a coffee house in central London, and they're known for Kenyan coffee beans. And I think it's probably based on preferences, what kind of coffee you like. I like coffee that's more not too roasted, but more to maybe kind of Italian coffee, you know, deep roasted type of flavor. It's more kind of my kind of flavor when it comes to coffee. But Kenyan coffee, my goodness, it's very acidic. And I think some people like it. You probably need to get used to it. But it tastes very sour in my mouth. So I was struggling a little bit. But then after a couple of tries, I got hooked. I think it's just a matter of getting used to it. And then it started to taste really interesting. It's probably with the, you know, how they roast their coffee. I'm no expert, but it produces different kind of tones for the coffee. And that one too from the left. One, two, three. And I'm really happy that there are less and less places like Starbucks. I mean, they're still around, but not as prevalent as maybe a few years ago. They were everywhere. The all independent coffee shops had to go because they just couldn't compete. And things are starting to change. You see more and more independent kind of coffee shops opening. And I believe the last time I heard, a lot of Starbucks branches have been closed because they're just too many, too saturated, and you get fed up with it. And the coffees are okay, nothing to shout about, and they're not cheap at all. And they demand to know your names. Just seriously, leave me alone. You don't need to know my name to serve me coffee. Please. Keep it to yourself. I remember I was working in a company at that time, and my colleagues just playing games with them. So they come up with the most diabolical names and just go, I don't know, all sorts like names in the science fiction. But they can't do anything about it. If you go, my name is, I don't know, anything you make up in your mind. They have to repeat it. They have to write it down. So it's probably worth having a little bit of fun with them. That's very cheeky of them. Steve asks, are you drinking it black and cold? Yes, I always drink black coffee, and because that's the only coffee that tastes like coffee, and I like to leave it cold. I like it hot as well, but I'll sip it, and sometimes I just, forget to drink it for a little bit and then go back to it. It tastes wonderful, so delicious. So I grow to like it. So I make a really big cup, and then drink some when it's hot, and some of it will become cold, and I just sip it a little bit at a time. Yes, always black coffee. Always. Roxy says Starbucks is overpriced for okay coffee. Yes, I think it's McDonald's for coffee, isn't it? I remember before the whole chain coffee shops, and Starbucks is the probably worst offender. London used to full of interesting coffee places, particularly Italian coffee shops, and they all get chased out of town because they just couldn't compete. But I think it's changing. It's changing. I have hopes. And I have friends, they drink, it's a latte type, latte cappuccino. Literally, there'll be a tiny bit of coffee at the bottom, and the rest should just get topped up with milk. So essentially, you're drinking, I don't know what you're drinking. You're drinking milk with a bit of coffee flavor. If you like coffee, drink it black. It'll change your life. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. One, two, three, four. Roxy, I always patron locally owned independent shop. I do as well, but not just out of, support. It's like they tend to serve better coffee because these people really have to go on for training. I don't know what kind of training the Starbucks people go through. I have no idea. But if you want to own an independent coffee shop, you need to be a proper sort of coffee brewer. I'm sure there's a title they have, but yeah, it's no joke. 1, 2, 3. So they know how to make proper coffee, and I think Starbucks, any kind of students, working part-time can probably do. They just use the machine to press the coffee out. I can do that. And coffee making's an art form because depending on who makes it, you leave a signature, just like cooking, You can use the same ingredients, same method. It comes out differently if it's your mom's cooking. Barista, yes. Thank you very much for that. I don't know what is that. teeth. It's a family show. What's an adult slushy? Oh, it's got alcohol in there. I thought it was an innuendo of something else. Oh, very naughty, Steve. It sounds like a porn movie. What an interesting formation. Two. And run out of my thread here. So one more here. 1, 2. River says, I drink my black. When my son was little, he liked his morning of coffee with me. I pour him a mug of milk and a drop of coffee. So he felt really grown up. You know, I'm having coffee with my mum. That's lovely. I think in France, I mean, it's not caffeine, but in France, I don't know about now, but they used to give children brandy at bedtime. Maybe put in the milk and just get them to sleep. That's why French parents, they'll look so rested because the kids just get sloshed as they go to bed. And they'll turn out okay. You know, we're really nervous about giving sort of kids any bit of amount of alcohol. And look at French. No problem at all. They'll turn out okay-ish. Maybe one more stitch. I'll have to end this thread. Right, I'm going to switch color. Oh, this bit is looking very exciting here. What is going on here? Let's have a look. 720. 720. And also with my coffee, I used to have a espresso machine. First of all, it's very loud, and also eventually breaks. And so I switched. Someone, I can't remember who, maybe I went to a coffee house somewhere and they used the dripper. So it looks like a normal coffee filter, but it kind of just drips. And so you don't apply pressure or heat. You just pour a kind of hot water. Some will go, purists will go, you need to leave it up to about 80 degree or something like that rather than boiling hot. But I don't really mind. I just pour the hot water over and it just slow drip the coffee to a cup. And it's delicious. It's very different from pressed coffee with an espresso machine. And I've been using it ever since, maybe for, oh, God knows how many years now. And it doesn't require any machines or equipment. You just need, have a dripper. And there's a brand, I think maybe Japanese. Maybe this way of making coffee is Japanese, I'm not sure. Or maybe North European. So there's this brand called Hario. They do drippers. And that's all you need. So even when I travel, if I go anywhere, I can just take the dripper with me, make my own coffee. There's no equipment required. Some hotels, they have those Nestle machines with capsules and stuff, but they just don't taste as good as coffee come out of a dripper. If you haven't tried coffee drippers, give it a go. It's really beautiful. So imagine the coffee coming out of heat and pressure tastes one way, but when you just slow drip, maybe not, well, it's not that slow. It's not that slow, but it's slower than just pressing the coffee. And the coffee is mild and smooth. Maybe that's why it tastes so good cold, because it hasn't been burned and overheated. It's beautiful. Because sometimes espresso coffee, if it's not done properly, can come out, taste slightly burned, kind of overly heated kind of taste. Coffee comes out of a dripper is totally different. Totally different. I'm going to take it down before I get too lost. 1, 2. It's tempting to just wander off, but I know I'll get lost and start making mistakes. Oh, Sarah's got a dripper as well, but her husband's using different method. What is a percolator? Is it one of those Nordic kind of Norwegian thing? My mum used to use those. You place a small flame underneath with alcohol, burning alcohol, and then you just heat it. It kind of floats up and then down. I can't remember what that's called. Never used it. But that's my mom's favorite method of making coffee. And if you want to go really hardcore, you can use a dripper for use a dripper with the ground coffee, but drip with cold water. I think the slow drip. I'm not sure if you're using exactly the same dripper, but the slow drip with cold water, basically you have to leave there overnight. I think some specialized coffee shops, they do that. And apparently the coffee is to die for. Maybe let's heat it up, or they use it for iced coffee, I'm not sure. I think the idea is not to apply heat to the coffee. So maybe that's for iced coffee. Ah, that's the one. Yes, that was my mom's favorite method. It looks like some sort of lab experiment, isn't it? The water just flows up and then drips down. I'm just too scared of the glass tubes part of it. I think I'll just be breaking them everywhere. As clumsy as I am. I think they originated from Northern European countries, maybe Sweden or Norway, that area. The only well, I would say downside, it depends on how you do it. The only downside with dripping method is you do need to use coffee filters, paper filters. And I did that for quite a while, quite a few years, and I decided I saw those reusable ones, the metal ones that you can get, and some of them more like almost like a mash, like a basket type, really fine mash. The one I have is metal, and it's been okay. I think it's a little bit you don't need to clean it properly, otherwise, you know, the filter can get a little bit stuck with the coffee from time to time. But if you clean it, use a brush, fine brush, it's fine. So it saves me from having to buy paper filters all the time. One, two, um, one, two, the first one. Oh, Sarah, I didn't know there was electric ones. My mom used a alcohol lamp, sort of flame underneath, and that looks very scary. Any naked flames. I don't mind candles, but that looks a little bit scary to me. So using a electric one. Ah, for campfires. Oh, I see. Staying still. So it's not glass. So you can't see through. Yeah. I mean, coffee making is a ritual, isn't it? It's something that you do every day. How I start the day. So it's important. One, two. Oops. Two more here. I'm going to end this red. I am very warm. One more. One more leg. There you go. I move forward over this area here and fill in this area. 422. 422. 422. Right. One stitch here. Single stitch. And it's that one. This one. These colors are so similar. I'm going to end it here and move it to another location. No stitches yet. Rivers, is that question for me? So River asked, what app are you using? For this project today, I'm using Pattern Keeper because I wanted to do a cross country. So there's some free color switching. I just pick arbitrarily, what I like within reason. Whereas Saga, for instance, it's much better if you actually do the minimum to maximum, maximum to minimum, that kind of flow is probably better. In order to switch color in Saga, unless I'm missing something, 422, let me pop it back. There are like 3 steps you have to perform before you can switch color. Maybe I'm missing something, but Pattern Keeper is just quicker. If you kind of just want to go for a little bit of freestyling, mini cross country, it's just easier to use. A01. So I have to conclude perhaps Saga way of stitching is more popular maybe in Russia. So it's kind of designed that way. So it's really, really powerful with certain stitching methods, but slightly more laborious if you want to stitch a different way, like cross country, or if you want to park within the, just parking method in general. I think Pattern Keeper is still the best option. So I use them all. I want to explore each app's strengths and weaknesses and just use them to my advantage rather than, become a slave for them, like certain way of working because the app doesn't let me do it. And I use Markup primarily for my printed paper paper patterns that I scanned into Lab. So Markup is quite powerful when it comes to importing paper patterns, but not so good with the rest. I'm not doing Markup bashing. It's still good if you don't have Android device, because it exists on both Android and iOS. So if you don't want to get Android tablet or device, then use Markup or Saga. Now you have that option too. And I actually bought my first Android device just so I can use Pattern Keeper. That's how determined I was. Because when I first found out app, I wrote to the developers and go, whoa, when is the iOS version is coming out? Is it coming out? And they go, whoa, we're kind of working on it. And that's like 3 years ago. It's not happening yet. So I'm glad I didn't wait. So I just went to get a Android tablets. Thank God they're not as expensive as iPad. It's a fraction of the price. And I got it, I think, on a discount day on Amazon as well, like a Prime Day or something. So that wasn't too painful. But essentially, the entire tablet, that's the only purpose it serves, is to use Pattern Keeper. Roxy says, same, I bought an off-brand Android from Amazon just for PK, just for Pattern Keeper. Yeah. And thanks to you, I have Saga on as well. Though I haven't tried it yet. Oh, you've got it working. Wonderful. Well done. Give it a try and kind of part the sort of Pattern Keeper way of working for, at least for a while when you explore Saga, and look at why it's designed the way it does. There's a purpose to it. And everything they do is geared toward a certain way of stitching, which is user-defined area that you can flow your colors based on the number of stitches, and to complete the area that way. That's kind of what it's designed for. So it's a nice option, because some projects I just want to do it that way because it's fun. And it's fast as well. I find it quite fast comparing to other stitching methods. So, it's nice to be able to incorporate that way of stitching into the variety of different methods I do anyway. Oh, that's a little border for my pie, for my cherry pie. A01. Yeah, I think my tablet is actually Amazon Fire. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know there were different, because iPad is iPad. So, it's from Apple, but Android's got so many different brands. So I had to get my head around it. So I just picked the one that makes sense. Not really know what I was doing. It worked out okay. 729. Oops. So there's this one. River says, so did I, but now I want to buy my first Apple device. Okay, so you're coming from the other way. You actually went for Android first. And then yes. Because you need, at least currently, oh no, you don't actually. Because you can download a free copy of Saga on Android. There's a link on my post. So that's from the developers. But I'm having my Saga on my iPad actually. So the iOS version you do have to buy. And the difference between the two is that I think for now, the Android version is not being developed, meaning that you get a snapshot copy of what they've got so far. And they probably won't go back to do any work on it on the Android version until the ban is lifted. So they have the budget, you know, to do it. But for now, they've probably focused on the iOS version. That makes sense. One, two, and there's one stitch just over here. I'm going to end this right here, not wander too far. Seven, two, nine. Let me have a sip of my drinks. $817. It's one of the pretty reds. Oh, River, you're the one that got Needlebug to try it. Oh, wow. So how did you find out about the app? I think I got I was only aware of the app through Stitching Masterpieces. It's a Russian lady who's got a channel as well, and she was demonstrating this app, and I was fascinated. I was like, what is that? It looks so different. Because if you think about Pattern Keeper, it's kind of what you see is what you get. You look at something that looks like a pattern, and then you can mark it, mark the stitches, and that's it. You can move it around like a paper pattern, but on the screen. But this app she was demonstrating, I was going, what is going on there? What is it? And I thought maybe it's only in Russian, and then I realized it's in English as well. And I kind of looked into it, but realized that I'm trying to think. First of all, yes, the app, I found an app on iOS, so I said, hooray, I'm gonna give it a go. And then I realized you can't try it. And I hate to buy something that I haven't tried. There's no trial period. And so I kind of parked that idea a little bit. And then I also realized that they don't recognize PDFs. So I thought, oh, never mind then. And it wasn't until maybe, I'm pretty sure it's Needlebug. She was using it. I'm trying to think of the sequence of events there. And she, oh, I think she popped up on our chat here. And then she mentioned Saga. And I go, well, yeah, I'm aware of it, but I can't get, how do you get it to work? And that's when she gave me a whole bunch of advice on how to do it and helped me to get a copy working. So you were before that, River. Yeah, Karen loves it. Karen is totally in love with Saga. She went as far as saying she will never go back. So, yeah, I think she loves it. So River says, I just want an Apple to check out the features, the Android version. Oh, I have the Android version on the free download copy on my Android as well, but I haven't tried it. So I'm not aware of there's some feature differences. I bet there is. So what is it that the Android doesn't have? That's interesting. Because I'm sure they probably stopped developing it, at least for the time being, when they got banned on Google Store, Google Play Store. Right. The iOS version, as far as I know, is very stable. It's got a lot of functions. It's quite mind-blowing, actually. It's got this mode that you can flip over. Let's say you've got this stitch area. So on Pattern Keeper, if you look at it, everything's marked. You see this pattern, the stitch area. And you also have the option, I'm not sure, maybe it's Markup, to preview the whole thing. Like if it's stitched, you can see the areas you haven't stitched either. So you see the full thing, but not like a picture, but actual markup of the stitches. And with Saga, you have a mode, which is, it took me a while to realize why you need to do that. Because I thought, well, what do you need this feature for? Which is to flip over. There's a mode you tap. The unstitched area becomes visible and the stitch area becomes blank. Kind of flip over the other way. And I was thinking, why do you need that? And then I realized it's to help you to determine where you want to go next. So you can pick an interesting area. Just look at the unstitched area and then you can create your little box there, the user-defined area. I was like, oh, that's so clever. Who thinks like that? Who thinks like that? As a stitcher, I never thought that would be a useful feature. And it is. If you stitch the way Saga supports you stitching, which is the user-defined area of any number of stitches, and you just want to work within the area. So use that mode. You can identify which area you would like to work on, because sometimes there's color groups you're interested in and you can see what's underneath. That is so clever. reverse up to 29 stitches now, and wait till the final number within that area. When you go up to the final number, when there's only one color left, that's when you fly, because you know within that box, you just go in and just fill in anything that hasn't been stitched. I love that bit. It's just, it's so crazy. Oh, you're the Saga OG. Very nice. Thank you. Without people like you, I wouldn't know what to do. I know, it's just a totally different way of thinking. And I love it. I love it because it just makes stitching so exciting. It kind of gives you a new option to do. And because it's designed for that very specific way of stitching, obviously, it creates weaknesses for other ways, of stitching. Let's say if you just want to go Gemma stitches method, which is, just easing away from the edges and then switch colors constantly. Saga is, as far as I can see, it's not really for that purpose because switching color is not that easy. If you're doing the method I was describing, you define the user area, you work on that box or whatever shape that is. The app actually has a function to automatically navigate through based on how you define it to work. You can go from minimum number of stitches each color to maximum, or the other way around. And if the auto navigation is on, it would just jump to the next color without you having to do anything. But because of that, if you want to change color, switch to threads and park at the same time constantly, you have to do more in order for that to happen, and it doesn't flow as far as I can see. So that's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a weakness because it's just designed for a different way of stitching. But if you used to, cross country, park, and switch colors constantly, different colors constantly, then you want to stick with Pattern Keeper. No, so there's not a function on Saga. I wouldn't say it's critical, but it's nice to have, is that you can define based on your work, whether it's 2/1, 1/1, whatever. There's a mode that you can turn on. It will give you a simulation, kind of a preview of what it looks like, not just the color composition like a markup. You can actually see the texture of the threads. And you can even define different types of threads. I don't know how accurate that is, but it's just mind-blowing that they're giving you that kind of options. So you can literally preview the finished work based on whether it's 1/1 or 2/1 or whatever stitch size or whatever fabric. That is pretty amazing. few more stitches here. Janelle says, I need to find someone to convert my PDF. I'll pay. One day someone will do this for those who aren't computer savvy. I mean, there's an option. You can download a desktop version. Doesn't matter you're on PC or Mac. Follow the link on my post under community post. There's a desktop version that you can download, which is a desktop version of Paradise, which is a conversion software you need. And it might be a little fiddly. I don't know if you can get it work on your desktop. It's just a matter of doing that and then convert the PDFs. And it's not something you have to do all the time, just per pattern, once per pattern. Once it's converted to dot dies, which is the format the Saga recognizes, and that's it. You've got that copy there. You never have to do it again unless you have a new pattern. So the option is there. It might not be as fiddly as you think. Just try give the software a go. It's free, courtesy of Paradise, the app. So you don't have to wait for someone to do that for you. Ah, so you've downloaded Paradise. You've got Paradise, do you mean on your tablet? If you have Paradise on your tablets, unless you're able to upgrade, you can't, it doesn't have that capacity to do, well, it doesn't have that capability open for you. So that's technically a paid feature. But currently you're not able to upgrade because of the restriction imposed by Google Play. I was quite lucky because Karen actually gave me a code, and I don't really publicize that because I don't know how available those codes are there. But the alternative is to download the software on the desktop. The app version, unless you upgrade to Pro, you won't have that feature. So I don't know whether you tried the desktop software or not. So this is something for Saga to think about, because there's a vast market over here. If they're interested in exploring, you know, make it compatible with PDF, and the whole world opens. I think everybody will want a copy of Saga. So the developers, if you're listening, have a think about it. I'm going to end this right here. I might go for one more color. Then maybe wrap up briefly after midnight. We're close to midnight. 1 minute to go. Counting down. And I've got morning classes tomorrow. But I think I'll go for one more color. 780, 780. I'll just stitch until this thread is running out. Down here, and probably manage a few more stitches with this length. Do 3 more stitches here. And 1 more here. Oops. There you go. Final stitch for today's session. And I'll show you what I've done today. Ooh, not bad. I have a little look of the stitch number. Very exciting. Let me remove this one and zoom out a little bit for you. Oh, River is offering to do it for Janelle. How nice. Yes, absolutely. That's very nice of you, River. There you go. Problem solved. Problem solved. There you go. So let me move these away. So this is the area I focus on today. So I worked a little bit of the shadow just below the cherries here. So there's a lot more definition around the cherries. Really pretty. And a little bit around this area as well, filling up under this green leaf here. And then also this area, orange area toward the kitchen timer as well. So I'm very happy with that. And let me just quickly show you my app as a proof, as in how many how many stitches I've done. Let me turn on my autofocus so you can see. There you go. So let me zoom out a little bit. Remove the highlight there. So, oh my God, hang on. Was it 9% before I started? Have I moved to 9? I can't remember. Maybe I'm confused. I think it wasn't 9, was it? Yes, I'm just, did I move from 8 point something to 9? I can't remember in the beginning. But today I finished 379 stitches, which is super fast for me because normally my average is just under 200, depends on the stitching method. The only method I'm able to stitch at this speed is mini cross country like this, parking or not. I'm thinking maybe not parking is a little bit faster because you don't have to manage the thread. You can just go anywhere. And also another method I'm able to stitch this amount this within 3 hours is with Saga when I do the block, working within the block. So these are the two methods I'm able to stitch a little bit faster. So I'm really, really excited, and currently I'm 9.35%, easing toward 10. Somewhere there. At some point, I'll cross the threshold into double digit in percentage. So I'm looking forward to that. And today is such a delicious session, and it was lovely chatting with you. And chat. I love it when stitchers just help each other. That's so wonderful. And so problem solve for you there. And so yeah, definitely give Saga a go. I just think it's such an interesting way of stitching, and we can never have too many different methods. So with that, it's just past 12 midnight in London. It's 7 past 12, and I'm going to sign out here and have a cup of tea maybe, and go to bed. I'm looking forward to my morning classes that I teach. And so thank you everybody for really, really interesting chatters here, and thank you for participation. I can't speak, it's midnight. And also wherever you are, if you're watching in the background, whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoy what you're doing here. So tomorrow we're going to come back with another piece. I have no idea what I'm going to do, so it's going to be a surprise for you and a surprise for me as well. So from London, peaceful London at midnight, I'm going to wave goodbye to you. Nighty night, everyone. Good night, and have a lovely rest of your day. Nighty night. Bye bye.